Civilization has made you weak. Soft beds, rich food, and the temptations of the flesh. But the horde is at the walls.
Conan Unconquered is kind of a new genre. It's a survival RTS game.
It's not a traditional real-time strategy game.
You have a lot of spinning plates. There is a lot to worry about. It's not just build an army, build a base, go and attack the other guy.
You're defending up against waves of enemy attackers, and the waves get progressively more difficult.
You know, you're Conan, you're in front of the citadel that you're supposed to defend.
They get more challenging, they get more deadly.
There's this clock that's ticking and the drum beats are going in the background. They're getting gradually louder. You know something nasty is going to happen.
Playing by yourself or with a friend, you're going to try and survive through so many waves to see how long you can remain unconquered. At Petroglyph, we've kind of continued along with our strategy game DNA and RTS kind of game DNA.
I mean, pretty much anything fantasy and sci-fi is going to get people around here interested, but Conan's one of the top ones up there.
And being able to make the first, strategy-based Conan game, that was huge to us.
With Conan Unconquered, you're not really fighting against a base, you're fighting against the elements and overwhelming odds. So, depending on how you set up the game and the customization, you'll be pitted against, a finite number of waves or even an infinite amount of waves.
We've built in a lot more simulation than we ever have in any other game. You're managing a lot more resources, so there's a lot of different choices to make on which resources you actually want to go out and gather and harvest to determine what type of things you want to build. The worlds are randomly generated as well, so it's not the same map that you play every time, it's a new experience every time.
You really have to layer in a lot of the strategy and challenge elements. With Conan Unconquered, that's kind of what we're trying to do with the multiple enemy types that have different behaviors you have to deal with environmental effects such as disease and sandstorms and fire. All of those things are the challenges. The strategy comes in, what buildings you build, how you spend your resources, what units you're using to combat the challenges.
The other nice thing about Conan Unconquered is that you can not only play solo play, you can play cooperatively as well with a friend or a stranger. You can matchmake and find a stranger to play with.
The two players can play together and play against even worse waves than the solo version. They are much more powerful. They'll come from multiple directions at once very early. So it'll take both of you working together to survive.
One of the most exciting things that players are going to experience is the multiplayer aspect of Conan Unconquered. We thought that was a great opportunity to give fans kind of a different way to play a survival RTS game.
It's just fun to kind of share the challenge. It is so much fun to share that victory, with somebody. And it's also nice too because one person can manage one thing while somebody else manages something else.
I think that the main impetus for making this game was our love for other experiments that are going on in the RTS genre right now. I am a big fan of Frostpunk.
We all fell in love with the Barbarians. We want to make a game that has some of the elements that this has because it's really fun to build and survive.
These are great games and they're great examples of a survival strategic game that we thought, man, that's really good. What else could we do with that?
Taking their Billions meets Stronghold and then putting it in that Black Colossus storyline from Robert Howard, that's well known from, the old Conan comic books and books.
Yeah, it's very savage and brutal, just like I think Conan would like.
Oh yeah.
Conan, what is best in life? To see your enemies driven before you and to play this strategy game.
That's right.
Alright, so welcome to Conan Unconquered. We are a survival RTS. So what that means is basically we take in, a lot of the core concepts of RTS where you're managing your resources and you're trying to do this within a lot of time, right? And we added the survival aspect where, you're gonna have to explore, you're gonna have to fortify your location, and then you're gonna be attacked by waves. So the idea here, got a knock on the door. So the main objective here is to protect your HQ. So this here is your HQ. Now, Conan Unconquered is loosely based on the Black Colossus story. And in that story, basically, there's a princess who has a dream, and the dream tells her that in order to save her kingdom, the first person she sees on the streets is the person that needs to command her armies. And in that case, it's Conan, right? So that's kind of like the gist of it. So what I have here is basically it'll be a little bit different than when you guys start. Like this is I'm playing a 25 wave map. Currently I'm on wave 18, right? I'm preparing for an attack. So let's just kind of see what's going on here. All right, so I'm looking over here at top, and I see that it's wave 18. I'm gonna have like a lot of dudes coming at me: some spearmen, some javelineers, some horsemen, and catapults and necromancers. Right now, I could actually they're not gonna arrive yet. So when the skull hits the end, that's when I know that they're on their way. I could see on the minimap roughly the location that they're gonna come from, so I could start setting up my my protection. So for the most part, I've done again, this is kind of advanced. Right, so I've kind of expanded outward, and I've created like as many choke points as I can with my own with my structures. I've built up my wall that have inside these towers. I have range units ready and just getting ready to help defend here. So I got Conan right here. There's no audio. Right, I don't know if you wanna.
Also, what about the choke points?
Yeah, what's up? Yeah, exactly. So every time that you play, it's a different map, and you have to kind of like see what you got to work with, right? In order to kind of create a safe environment for yourself and your people. All right, so let's see. So here I have a couple of 4 swordsmen. Now, what's interesting about like all the units have like their unique role to fill, and the swordsman basically it's our melee, and it also tends to taunt people.
Attack wave approaching.
So let's see. All right, so the attack wave is coming. So let's see if we can kind of hold them off. I know that this wave has some catapults inbound. I'm also gonna build here this sunburst tower. So in case I have to fall back, I could fall back to my own tower, and hopefully that'll save me. I can see. Now, another thing about the map being randomly generated, there's like creeps that are kind of scattered all over the map, and you're supposed to use them to like level up. I kind of triggered this one here, and that's going to be a pain because now he's added to the battle. All right, so I can see that the first part of the wave is here. I'm sending my soldiers forward. Now they're definitely going to need some backup. Let's see, who do I have nearby? Alright, I'm going to take the priest and the archers, I'm going to send them forward, and hopefully they can help these guys out.
It would be nice to have a body right now.
It would be nice to what?
Have a body right now.
Oh, it would! And that's kind of like the thing with co-op, right? Like, this gets kind of crazy, and it does become a little overwhelming, right? But then I can kind of pause. But if I had a buddy, right, I could be like, okay, dude, I need you to take care of that west side because it's falling, right? And then during the pause mode, you could actually like give commands, right? So I'm gonna put my priest over here, archer here, and then hopefully I could save him. Ah, no, he totally wrecked. which means that that side has fallen. Alright, meanwhile, alright, we got Conan up here. Now, the thing about all the heroes, the hero is Conan, and all the units, basically the longer they're on the field, they gain experience and level up. So I'm going to have Conan do his spin before he dies. There you go. Kill as many things as he can. And, alright. So now we got into a point where I think I'm in trouble, right? I have skeletons that are being summoned because all those dead bodies, aside from creating diseases, there's certain units like the necromancers, which will actually like summon skeletons out, right? So I've kind of got myself in a position where I'm kind of losing, I'm kind of losing hang of everything here. So let's see. So all right. So these buildings just shut down. Basically, in this game, you have, in order to expand outward, you have to build these battle standards, which give you command, right? And that increases your build area. So I've lost that flag up there. So those buildings have shut down, which my gold economy is now at -2. All right. So in times like this, and this is something that I kind of built up to, I'm gonna summon a god to kind of come help me out. So Mitra. Right, so this is something that I kind of tapped into, right? He's kind of works as a super weapon, right? And you have to build temples in order to generate enough zeal, right? It's like another resource sink. But now I could use him while Conan's out, and he could help me squeeze the, especially get rid of these catapults. But yeah, my plantations are gone. So see, they're affecting that. I mean, they were successful in like destroying my resource lines. Let me get rid of this guy. All right, Conan, come back. I need you out here. Come on. Great. Crush it. Thank you. There you go, and then I've successfully survived that wave, and wow, just at the last minute he goes and disappears. So, while I was trying to defend wave 18, now wave 19 is still inbound. Like, that did not stop, right? So, right now I have to do some repairs, because even though my gold is pretty low, and that's basically because everything shut down. And let's see. Yeah, exactly. Like in Conan, there's a couple of like hazards that happen. Like disease are one of them. Like if there's enough bodies piled up, it will actually create a cloud of disease that will affect their units. It'll slow them down. It'll cause them to drop to half health. And there's also like another hazard which we have, which is fire, which we'll probably get to see in the upcoming wave. Now I'm gonna start repairing some of my structures here. I think I got these things back. Who's under attack? Okay, he's taken care of. Now that's another thing too, right? Like you tech up hard enough, you could actually set up automated defenses, right? Which will kind of help you it will help hold the waves back. So I'm gonna try to defend here from the south side. I need more dudes. Now the thing is that you don't generally just want to crazily generate dudes, because each of them has like a cost, right? Like they will, they demand an upkeep. So you kind of want to use what you have and make sure that it doesn't get destroyed. So let's see. Alright, so I have a general idea of where they're coming from, right? And again, right, that's the whole concept. Like you're going to keep getting hit by wave after wave after wave. And then by looking at the list here, I could tell that the biggest things here are the fire catapults and the flame demons, right? Flame demons being the worst because they explode and light everything on fire that's nearby. So let's see. Alright, I'm going to send my cavalry out. Send the cavalry out to look for I want them to look for the catapults, right? And then some Conan up here. Some pikemen to help out.
One thing to keep in mind with the fire is also how you build the structures, so you don't move all too close together because fire really fast.
Yep. And that's also kind of a reason that you have to learn how to manage your space, right? Like I try to build things in clumps that were useful, but not enough so that the fire could affect it, really cause issues. Okay, come on, Conan, we got this. Spin! Oh, and there we have one of the fire demons. Alright, I think I'm gonna have to pull Conan back. Come on. See, in the situation where like the battle gets too hectic, I could just pause, zoom in, again, go back there. Okay, good. I can just pause whenever you want to. There is, like, for example, a feat that is earned by not, right? And there's also, like, yeah, by not pausing, and there's also, like, crom mode, right? Which definitely allows you to, it takes away the pausing. But, yeah, it's definitely hardcode mode. Alright, so let's see. So I should be able to pull back this wave, but in general, that's the gist of like Conan Unconquered. Alright, let's see. Oh, there's see my horses.
There's also this rock paper scissors thing going on with spearmen against, or like swordsmen against horses, riders.
Yes, and then cavalry is really good against the catapults, mainly because they can move faster and then just get there. And that. And here's where we were talking about the fire thing, right? Like it's like, okay, those guys in there are protected, but I gotta get rid of this. Oh, and Conan died.
Just taking
Yeah, he's just a little tuckered out. I rolled an ankle. Okay.
And you can send your units as well to take out the fire.
Yeah.
Put some sand on it.
Although they will prioritize. Oh, there you go. Yeah, start putting out some fire guys because we're never getting nowheres. Another thing too, because this is somewhat part simulation, right? I hit the V key to change the view, right? Which kind of makes it a little bit easier in certain situations than this type of perspective. But yeah, that's generally it.
Yeah.